Good morning. Welcome to binary.com, our weekly live trading room or analysis, I should say. Better word for that. Our weekly live analysis room starting at 8 a.m. UK time at binary.com. My name is Chris, and we're going to take a look at the Forex market and also XAU USD. But first of all, I should make you aware of the fact that trading and analysis on the global financial markets, just like Forex, is considered high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this webinar is for educational purposes only. Thank you for your attention on that. If you're not aware, we have, of course, this session live right now at 8 a.m. But we also have the option, if you are not able to join at this time, to register at blog.binary.com/weekly trading room, and we'll send you an email when the recording is ready, and you can watch the recording, of course, at any time you want. All right, today's goal, we're going to take a look at the economic calendar. Then we'll take a look at the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, AUD USD, and XAU USD. So with that said, first of all, we're going to take a look at the economic calendar. Of course, last week we had NFP and unemployment rates, which were dollar positive numbers. They were good figures for the US, and the dollar strengthened upon those numbers, but then weakened after that. So an interesting development. We'll talk about that more on the charts. This week, though, unlike last week, which had a ton of interest rates and other important news events, this week is quieter. Today we have some governors speaking on England and the US. But otherwise, really, the entire week is relatively quiet. We have the New Zealand interest rate on Wednesday. I will scroll down so you can see we have some, of course, some news events like on pound and ECB President Draghi speaking. Wednesday we have the news event on the New Zealand, the cash rate, and Swissy on Thursday, the cash rate. But otherwise, only next week we have the FOMC meeting minutes for the US. With that said, let's head over to the Eurodollar weekly chart. And let's take a look at what happened with that NFP. And if you look at the last week's candle, weekly candle, it was very bullish. You can see the close where I'm pointing at, right in here where I have the green line, was very near the high, indicating no weakness at the end of the week. So that was in fact a very bullish close, despite the NFP numbers on the US being positive, and therefore you would expect dollar strength, which happened for a few minutes. The euro dollar actually closed bullish. So that is a bullish price action signal, but we are very close to resistance. Obviously, if we zoom out, we can see first of all a trend line coming in here connecting the tops. That means a resistance, and prices could be hooking back for more downside. That is a potential scenario that could unfold. The other option, of course, is that this downside was in fact a retracement of this uptrend. That's why we have blue lines here indicating that uptrend. So price is in an uptrend, but it's meeting resistance. So that means we're at a bounce or break spot. Either the currency is going to break above the resistance and move up to the next resistance, or the currency is going to bounce at this spot, move back to maybe the bottom of the trend channel, then still move up, or break the blue uptrend channel and move down back to the green support or the next support. So those are the most likely scenarios that could happen. That's what I mean with the bounce or break spot. And if we do break, we have a good space to 140 and 143, most likely. If we break to the downside and bounce now, and then break the uptrend channel to the downside, we could expect a move to 133, then 131.50, then 129.50, and eventually 127.50, which is the bottom of this green line. And maybe if we break that, even lower to test 122. Now in the meantime, if we then zoom into the daily chart, we can see the bigger uptrend channel in blue. Let me make the smaller uptrend channel a different color so I don't confuse myself and others. And let's put it on a dark blue color. No, I'll make it purple. Good. You can see this purple uptrend channel is a small uptrend channel. We're relatively at the bottom of the bigger uptrend channel. Price is pushing up to that weekly resistance. If we put a fib on this daily chart of this move, because this could be the first indication of a reversal potentially because of the strength it made to the downside, and the upside was very slow, then we see that we're at a 78.6% retracement fib, which was the target last week. I was talking about the 38.2, the 50, the 61.8 being resistance. That maybe will make a dip down from our upside last week. That's exactly what happened. We made that dip down and up right to the 78.6, which was the target, and that's where the currency has stopped. And therefore, a very likely resistance. In any case, I am counting on that, even if it doesn't happen. I'm not planning that the currency will necessarily continue upwards at this spot. So I'm waiting for a potential retracement of the euro dollar. Let's see where that could retrace to. If we then zoom into the 4-hour chart, we can see the 78.6 right here, and we're also quite close to the uptrend channel. What means is that we'll most likely get a correction here. It could be a bull flag, it could be a triangle. If we do get a triangle bull flag, one more break up to the 886 and the minus 618 target confluence around 137.60, 137.70 is likely. The other scenario is that we get a bit more aggressive correction, but we still bounce off the bottom of the uptrend channel. Then the same targets would still apply. The other scenario would be an even more aggressive downside, and then eventually a break of this uptrend channel in purple back to the bottom of the weekly uptrend, which is the blue line, of course. And then maybe a break of that, we could see further downside. So that's something I'm waiting for. In the unlikely event, but who knows, that we still push through the top of this uptrend channel, then still the same resistance would apply at the 886 and minus 618 confluence. Although I think that is the least likely, excuse me. So that is basically what we're looking for here. But a retracement seems most likely, although with an uptrend you never know. That's why it's good to keep an eye on the upper trend line as well. If that breaks, we could see a potential to move up higher. Otherwise, I would expect some kind of retracement and then a decision point. So that's the euro dollar. Now, if we zoom into the 1-hour chart, we can see I was expecting some upside here. That is what happened here and here. So some good break, pullback, and continued trade. And yeah, that's about it, I guess, regarding this time frame. Let's move over to the pound. And let's go to the weekly chart as well. And let me zoom in a bit. There we go. Now, first of all, the pound was a bit different. It actually had more of a reversal candle potentially. Then again, I wouldn't necessarily call this a reversal as yet. We did have a bearish candle, so it's a bit different. Then again, the pound dollar nicely broke this trend line and weekly resistance, so a continuation of that is still very likely as well, in my opinion. We already had this big thrust up correction, and now we're breaking out. So 1 week candle wouldn't change that entire balance and equation as yet. Down to the daily, you can see we're an uptrend channel that broke the weekly resistance. Basically, this was looking like a bull flag, sorry, and we got the break here of the bull flag and of the weekly resistance, and now we're making a mini bull flag again. So personally, I would say a retracement to the 38.2, for example, could be a good bouncing spot. That would be a retracement and a hook back to the broken trend line. That is usually a support, and we could see a continuation of the uptrend at the 38.2, for example. But even the 23.6 could be the bouncing spot, and we know that the 23.6 would be the bouncing spot if we zoom into the 4-hour chart. Then you can see that this is a bull flag, and once we break above the green line, we can expect continuation at least up to 165, maybe even all the way up to 167.50. Why 167.50? Then I have to go back to the weekly chart, and you can see the resistance right in here on the pound dollar. So that could happen when we break the green up to the red. So back to the 4 hour, we can see this bull flag, very neat bull flag in fact. The break of that would be a great trade, most likely to the upside. Now if we do break the support level here, 162.90, then probably we could see a fall to challenge 162. Then we'll have to see how price responds. Will it bounce up or will it continue to move down? Okay, so these are the most likely scenarios I think on the pound dollar. Also, if we break 162.90, we have to realize that the price has broken out of this uptrend channel. So it could even be reversal, but 162 is still a very important support. But other than that, price is outside of the uptrend channel, but it is still a bull flag. So a break of the green would be a good bull flag breakout trade to the upside. Let's take a look at the odd USD. And let me go to the weekly. There we are. We can see last week was a bearish candle, but it had a pretty big wick at the bottom as well. The odd USD2 had actually a bearish continuation of NFP, but then saw a sudden turnaround, and odd USD closed with 2 positive bullish days last week, in fact. So this could be maybe a small halt for a bigger retracement before we continue down. It's possible. Then again, we do see a very lovely downtrend channel, so I would be careful with any reversal trades. This is a very nice channel like this, and indicating the bearish momentum. Obviously, also price is very close to the support level. So once again, we have the battle between the trend and then the support, and we'll have to see which one wins. Will the trend blast through the support, or will we see a bit of a bigger retracement maybe before price has enough energy to go through that support potentially? So that's something that we can keep an eye on. Down to the weekly 4-hour chart, 4-hour chart, you can see what kind of a reversal bar that is. That would make me a bit leery. We have divergence between the odd USD bottoms, plus such a strong price action signal. Any retracement down could find support to move back up to 92.20, for example. So, and this bottom right in here. We can put a fib, for example, on this entire downside, and move back to the 50 fib or the 618. Either of these two could be resistance for more downside. Now, if we break this bottom, of course, we could expect more downside as well, probably, and we can see a challenge of 88.50, which is the bottom. But anything between the blue line here and the bottom, I would be careful. It could be bounce to the upside, it could be continuation to the downside. I would be more cautious because of that big price action signal. I wouldn't necessarily want to take it long because we're in a downtrend. I don't want to trade it the counter trend. But it is a caution for me that maybe the downtrend could be in danger, right, with this divergence as well. So either a break at the bottom or a move down from the 50 to 618 is what I would like to see on this odd USD 4-hour chart. 1-hour chart, you can see what kind of massive pin bar there was. Tremendous down and then up. Really funny. Alright, this is the 1-hour chart. Now I'm not saying that necessarily the downside is entirely toast, but what I want to see is at least maybe some chart pattern here and a good break of a trend line before I really trust the downside again. At the moment I'm in the cautious mode, and until I see this chart pattern, a break of the bottom or the fib, I'm very cautious. Let's go to the dollar yen and zoom out to the weekly again as well. 1 second, let me get rid of this fib. Good. Zoom in a bit. And we can see the dollar yen had a very bullish candle as well. And the uptrend continuing nicely as expected. This was a very strong trend. We had a substantial correction triangle potentially. Price is breaking out of that, as we've been monitoring now for the last few weeks. The only thing is, though, is that we're right close to the top, the 103.70 resistance. and I would like to see a break of that resistance and maybe some bull flag or chart pattern before taking it to the upside, or a slight correction of the last week's candle before maybe a cheeky attempt to jump in to the upside again. All right, so I do expect a break to the upside, but unless price really breaks through it, this is not the best position to attempt to trade it. So close to resistance and monthly top at 103.70. I would be looking for a retracement of last week's candle at minimum. We do see the oscillator back to the zero line and now pushing up again, indicating that this weekly correction is probably over, and this breakout could be a sustainable breakout. Let's see. Down to the daily, and we can see engulfing twins on Friday. A sturdy breakout so far. The 38.2 or 50 fib acting as a support at the moment. Now it's all a question of waiting for the break, and then if we break sustainable with a good momentum, we could see a continuation up to 110 potentially, if not 120. Down to the 4-hour. The 4-hour chart actually has a very nice uptrend channel like this. Potential uptrend channel. Price broke out of this correction here very nicely and is continuing. What I'll be looking for is a pullback at least to this level, back to the bottom of the uptrend channel to find a potential long, or as I said, the break of that top down to the 1 hour. And this was a very, very nice break of the correction here. And if you use trend lines like this, they will provide very good information of trend continuation. So that was a good trade last week. Now waiting for the pullback or break. Let's go to, let's see, I think we only have XAU USD left in fact. Let's go there. XAU USD, it's a bit messy chart, so let me go and clean everything and go to the weekly chart. Good. Weekly was bearish last week, still pushing downwards, approaching this bottom. The closer we get to the bottom, of course, the more likely that their potential support will bump into and push this up. If we do break that support, then we could see maybe a continuation of the XAU USD downtrend down to 1100, for example. In the meantime, though, with price getting so close, we're a bit cautious. Price is also pausing on the daily chart here. So for me, very important lines are this resistance here at 1260. If we break that, maybe we can see a potential to retrace higher, maybe to test this top, for example, and then find more downside. XAUSD is in a very difficult position, to be honest, at the moment, and I wouldn't be too fond on trading it. It is moving down, but it's quite choppy, and therefore wouldn't like to trade it to the downside nor to the upside at the moment. If we do break above the bigger top here at 1360, there is a potential to move up to 1420, then 1520. Like that, the green box. Anything below there, though, it could still be bearish, and we could still see resistance at 1250, at the trend line, at 1330 here at the moving averages. So price doesn't have much space to fall, but it's in a downtrend, which means it's not too enthusiastic at the moment of going to the upside. We did have some bullish price action candles, but still no movement there. For our chart, there is some divergence between the bottoms. That itself could lean towards a potential bounce to the upside and some retracement, but difficult to say here too. Very sturdy price action, but also pretty sturdy downside and again up, just indicating what kind of wacky price action here there is on the 1 hour chart. And price seems to be stuck in a range like this. So break of the range might indicate which way it is going to move, but you can see how many ups and downs there were. Really, really wacky price action. So with that said, that rounds up today's session. Once again, I'm going to show you quickly our link, blog.binary.com/weekly trading room, where you can get the recording and the email will be sent. Just your name and email address is needed. If you have any questions, of course, by all means, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to wish you great trading and look forward to see you next week, the 16th of December. Same time, same place, 8 a.m. GMT at binary.com. Cheers.